We are normal, everyday people who became aware of how our lifestyle was destroying nature. Like most people, we wanted to be respectful to the environment, but we didn't want to sacrifice everything. So we decided to move away from all the madness and try to live a sustainable yet comfortable life. Can we go off grid, grow the organic food we need, and enjoy our lives? Follow us and see.
Hi, I'm Steve.
And I'm Tammy.
And the purpose of this video is to give you an overview about what we're about to do with this farm. The context we're in, we're living on a 65 acres, nice home. It's bordered by a big river. We're at about 1,500 feet elevation, and we are in the tropics. The only seasonal differences we have is whether it's rainy season or dry season. That's our context. The ground that we're going to be farming on to develop seems like old pasture land, a lot of tree coverage on it, open areas still sectioned off for pasture, a lot of elevation changes, so that would be good for our for water distribution. There's 2 small streams that run the property from top down, and we can utilize those for water retention and whatnot in what we're doing. You have any thoughts, comments?
You're doing a good job.
Okay. So our goals, we want to be a self-sustainable couple, and we ultimately want to become a self-sustainable, fully self-sustainable community where we provide our own power, our food, everything we need to exist. We want to be able to do that and live really well and abundantly. That's our goal. So in that, we have to deal with food production. So in that, what we're doing currently, what we're going to be doing is planting lots of stuff, the stuff you need to live on, and we'll determine that and what types of food and whatnot. We'll go through all that in a different video. How do you know what you need and the growth cycles of each, and so we can make our plans and actually start planting. But we're hoping that in 6 months we'll be producing enough food, we'll have excess food where we'll need nothing else that isn't grown on our property. That's our goal of food. So some of the issues we have to face and deal with is our topsoil is not the best. We have to do topsoil development. We have to work on, especially in the dry season, we need to make sure our soil stays wet. You know, our plants have water. So we're going to use our water reservoir that we build to the excess of that, the spillway, we'll run that down a valley ultimately and create these grow tiers to where we'll grow food in those grow tiers or grow beds. And that will self-water and self-regulate, so we don't have to keep working at this. We want it to be somewhat as maintenance-free as possible. Another goal is to be fully off-grid, which we currently actually are, but in terms of growing capacity, if we bring more people in, we need to have more electricity. Our current house has all the amenities you could want or expect, and we have abundant capacity for that in a solar system that we currently have. And we'll go over all that later in another video of our current system, how it works, solar. But we need to look at other options, whether we go hydro and what that looks like. In hydro, if we go direct AC current, or do we do DC current and convert that then with an inverter to battery storage and whatnot. And we'll look at all that and see what's best given our context. The other goal is produce housing. We want more people to be involved in this development. And part of the reason is that you hear a lot of people talking about living in self-sustainable communities or developing self-sustainable communities, but no one's really doing that. So we want to actually do that. We want to build a place where people can actually come and live and fully off-grid, learn that you can do it, live well, live abundantly, and not be such a a drain on the world, I guess, the earth. So anyway, that's what we're doing. With the housing, we have a lot of natural resources here on the farm, and we want to look at different building methods. We'll look at all styles of building methods, and what we're going to do is try to determine what's the best method for the context we're in, the most appropriate method for our context, and then we'll build using that. We're not purists here. Just because something is made in a factory, we don't believe it's bad. I think there are certain things that are more sustainable when they're mass produced than when they're not mass produced. So we're going to look at all that and determine what's best for our context. So in the construction process, we'll be looking at everything in terms of septic systems, water catchment systems, like I said, all these construction methods. We'll also be looking at house designs for a number of reasons. One is how you live, designing something that's comfortable based on traffic patterns, flow patterns, massing of space, textures, materials. We'll look at also creating roofs that naturally convect air based on heat. Our goal is to be energy conscious, not waste where we don't have to. If something naturally occurs in nature, we want to utilize that rather than fight it with a system just because we didn't plan well in our development process. That's our goal. We know there's a lot of stuff on YouTube already, and you can learn a lot from it, but a lot of that stuff's just bunk. Finding a lot of it doesn't really work, and it seems like a lot of people are just regurgitating the information that a few actually know what they're talking about. And with that, you get this diminishing value of knowledge, and it's very frustrating. So what we want to do is actually walk through this process with you so you get to see what we do. We'll try it, we'll test it, and you'll see it, and we'll know what works and what doesn't work.
Our hope is that you will understand our approach and understand the process and why we do what we do. And
that's the important thing, is if you can understand the process you go through, the reasoning process of learning, so that in your given farm you can say, okay, it's steps you take. And that's what we hope you learn through this, is everyone can do this. It's not difficult. It's just this process you want to walk through, and knowing those steps, it's very empowering.
Absolutely. And one final thing, we have guest space here. So if you are interested in working with your hands, sharing your talents, growing right along with us, we would love to have you come and stay. You can send us an email, find us on Facebook. We are
on YouTube also, obviously. That's where you're watching us now, more than likely. Our Facebook page is Conflicted Farmers. Again, that's Conflicted Farmers.
And until next time,
Godspeed.